Every single natty I have ever met in my entire life who was big was also extremely strong. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. I thought I would chat with you guys and gals a little bit about this today, but a quick reminder, if you would please click like down below, it'd be greatly appreciated. If you're not subscribed or following, please do so, and if you'll be kind enough to drop a comment down below, I would appreciate that also. Thank you so much. And when I get over to this, and look, I'm not trying to say high reps don't work, I'm not trying to say machines don't work, so on and so forth, but realistically, I've been doing this a really long time. I've been doing this for a long time, guys. I was hanging out in old school iron gyms 25 years ago, getting in shape, doing my thing. I have been around a lot of this stuff. And I also come from an era where everyone was pretty open about gear use. It wasn't like today. We didn't have the fake natty thing. Tons of guys did do gear. There were guys who didn't do gear. Okay, and they were all pretty open about it. It's just the way it was, and everyone got along and accepted it. And here's the thing that I found back then, and I found it true year after year after year. I have never met in my entire life even one actual natty who I thought had a respectable amount of muscle mass, and we're going to call respectable, let's say a fat-free mass index of 24. In that range, because we talk about 25 probably being the upper threshold for a very gifted natty who put in a lot of work. At a reasonably lean body fat, that's what those numbers mean. You start talking guys in around that 24 range, okay? I can tell you what they lift. And I've met enough of them over the years, they all are strong on the big, big compound lifts. Very few of them spend a lot of time on machines. Some of them do some machines. I've always met some of them who are like, yeah, there's a few machines I really like, but they're not just all doing cables and machines. That's almost exclusively guys on large amounts of gear, in my experience. And I think you can see that even with some of the little bit of influencers who try to promote that. A lot of them who are really claiming drug-free, evidence-based are really small as hell. Like they don't look big in clothes. They don't look like they really work out that much. They just look like a dude who does a little cardio, maybe goes to the gym a little when they have a t-shirt on. They're not jacked. When you meet truly jacked naturals, they do tend to do a lot of big free weight movements. Here's the sort of stuff I have seen over the years. And so when I give that strength standard, I give out that dad bod strength standard, that actually falls in line with those numbers. Okay? What I have observed over many, many years, every single one of these guys can usually bench at least 315, right? Every single natty I've ever met who had a good amount of size, you're like, yeah, he's reasonably big. That guy clearly, definitely lifts. He's big. He looks big in a t-shirt. Every single one of them I've met can bench at least 315. They can squat at least 405. They can deadlift at least 5 plates. Okay, almost every single time. And I'm talking the bodybuilders. And I've seen some who do more, But without a doubt, or I've even seen more, it's like, dude, they're over here squatting 500 pounds. Okay? Or they're even repping 315 on the bench. They're all strong at these big moves. They can all deadlift. You see, they're usually strong at weighted pull-ups. They're strong at rows. So again, to look big, you got to have a big back. And you start looking at what they do, I can tell you that's what happens. Almost every one of them put up good-sized numbers. They can all usually, squat over 400, bench 315 plus, pull 5 plates plus. Usually see them doing reps with 1 plate or more on a weighted pull-up, or if they're doing a weighted chin-up, sometimes you occasionally see some of the really, truly, legitimately, decently big natties in that 24 fat-free mass index range. I met one day, I watched him, and he was repping 2 plates. And he wasn't some 150-pound guy. Like, I'm talking a really lean 180-pound guy. I was watching him do chins with 2 plates. Okay, this is generally what you see. And look at my client, Ted. Now, granted, his bench is below that, but you see Ted is literally doing rep work with a plate. You see him doing like 70-pound weighted chins, for work sets for like 5. He does a strict press with 205. He's like 185 right now, guys. Right? We've seen him squat 410, seen him pull 525. Okay? That's what pretty jacked drug-free guys who are big, that's what they lift. And so, yeah, those are numbers to strive for. So when I put out these numbers, that's what I'm telling guys. Like, if you want to be big and you want to be natty and you want people to say, yeah, that guy's jacked, you're going to have to put up those type of numbers. And I'm just telling you how it is. And you're not going to get there just by doing pump work on machines and cables. And I'm not saying we can't come in and do some pump and isolation work. I'm not saying some of the hammer strength machines aren't great. I'm not telling you to not do reverse hypers. I'm not telling you that if you really get a hell of a burn from a cable curl to stop doing cable curls. So I want to be clear that it's not what I'm telling you. But what I am telling you, these guys are all good at the big movements, and they practice big movements, because otherwise they just don't get the size and thickness. Keep in mind, guys, when there's no gear, you are reliant upon exercise only to make your muscles grow. There is no gear making other stuff just grow and fill in the gaps, okay? There's none of that happening. So to get big, they really have to be getting in there, working their whole back, right? They can't come in and just do, oh, I'm just going to do some cable rows and lat pull downs and everything just develop and get really thick. There's no other hormones to help. You have to just get thick, and you've got to build everything. And the only way you're going to build all the various support muscles all the way through there to really give you that size that stands out is to do the big exercises. And they have to get strong at them, because without progressive overload, without increased mechanical tension, you're only going to gain so much size. So the guys who are really and truly big that way, they also don't have any transient storage factors. They're not carrying any puffy fake muscle. They don't have extra glycogen in there. They have nothing to help. So every single bit of size they're usually carrying, they've had to chip away at it. It's muscle. And that requires continual progressive overload. And if you've progressively overloaded every muscle in your whole body, when you do get to your big movements, you've filled in the gaps, right? They've already built everything. And so it all carries over. And so, yeah, they tend to be strong at it. Even if they said, well, I mostly do 10 or 12 reps to build my bench, but then when they do go hit a heavy set, they can usually hit 315 for a rep or two. That's what I'm saying about guys who are big and drug-free. They almost always have a very, very, very high level of strength relative to their actual body weight, right? Because they don't have anything else to assist. They don't have any fake muscle. They have no side enhancement. They have no glycogen storage. They have to get there through mechanical tension, because that is the primary driver. Mechanical tension and progressive overload are the drivers of hypertrophy. That tends to come with a lot of neural drive, and it usually means they're having to do a lot of big movements because they're not spending hours and hours a day at the gym.